Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you don't know who I am, I'm Elliott. You're watching Everything Elliott, and this is a John Deere 47 quick hitch snowblower. If you've never seen this unit before, that means you haven't really watched my channel before. Well, because one of my most recent videos, I was just using this snowblower to snowblow at my father's property. Now, if you were paying attention in that video, you might have heard some noise coming from this thing, and it did not sound happy. That's because it's been neglected. But today, we're gonna show this thing some love. We're gonna give it some maintenance on the chopping block today. We're gonna change the oil in this here gearbox. Haven't done that before. Don't really know what we need to do. I've changed oil in gearboxes before, so it can't be much different. And we've also got some maintenance on the back side. So right here is the chain assembly that, well, it transfers the energy from the tractor into the snowblower. It has this chain here, and this is actually the source of the noise that you guys heard in that last video. This chain is it's seen better days. It's pretty stretched out. So we got a new chain we need to put on there. It looks like we're gonna have to do some disassembling here to get the chain onto this sprocket. I don't really know, so we're gonna find out together. I think that's about it. Gear oil and replace this chain. Not much more maintenance to this thing. So you guys can see that it's already half taken apart. Well, it's just two bolts, one bolt here and one bolt here. My father took this apart to kind of see what was going on. And there is a cover that goes here, hold on. So this cover kind of sits on here somehow, like this maybe under here. I don't know, he took it apart. I'm not really, I mean, I'll be able to figure it out once it goes back together, but the cover comes off and then he's just got these two other bolts on. So we're gonna get the rest of this unit off. We'll take it to the other side of the table and we'll start disassembling this. So if you guys don't know what this machine or snowblower is sitting on, this is actually my welding table that I recently picked up, and I have a whole video on refurbishing it. I'll put that up top for you. It looks like either my dad loosened these or they were never really tight, which is kind of concerning. There we go. So you kind of just got to move that chain out of the way, and then it fits in this little slot right here. If my father ordered the right part, it's AM121965. I don't even know if you can see that. Hopefully that's the right part number. So I'm sure you guys can hear in the background, that is not your TV, it's not your headphones. That's actually my waste oil heater. If you didn't know, we're in my shop, and I heat my shop in the wintertime with waste oil. And that's a free source of heat. All you use is a little electricity. Well, this looks to be a chain. So this is the right chain, and you can just see how much this chain is actually stretched. It's stretched about 1 inch, which is pretty wild. So take the new chain, put it on there, put this back in, and now I think it's just as simple as putting all the bolts back in. Okay, now with the new chain in there, we should be able to take it back to the backside and hopefully hook it right up. Alright, so we should be able to not fit the chain in there? How the heck did he get this off? There we go. All right, just like that. Now we just got to put the tensioning bolts back in. Now I'm sure there's supposed to be an appropriate tension for this, but I think I'm just gonna kind of hold it to where it needs to be, and that looks like a pretty good tension there. So we'll hold it out, and I'll just start tightening these bolts down, or I should say nuts. All right, that's nice and tight. And we'll get a little bit of lube, spray some lube on that chain. Everybody's favorite lube, and this is a vintage can. At least I think it is. All right, that chain should be nice and lubed up. Let's see about putting that guard back on. Now this is already taken off, but I think it goes... Does it go inside? Yeah. I think it goes like that. All right, well, the chain's done. Shouldn't make any noise anymore. Let's move on to the gearbox. So the gearbox on this thing is pretty simple. It's just got one fill port here, and then 6 bolts going around the outside. There's no drain port on it, which leads me to believe that we just need to crack this case open to drain it out. I guess you could take this port out and just tip it over, but I feel like that would take an extremely long time to drain out. I don't know if you could tell or not, but the snowblower is actually sitting not level. I'm gonna grab a 2x4 and stick it onto the backside. There, that looks a little bit better. That looks way better, actually. All right, so first things first, we're gonna make sure we can get this out before we take the bolts out, because it looks like somebody put some sort of sealer around this bolt. I'm going to use the most adorable little breaker bar that I have, 1/4-inch drive breaker bar. Oh yeah, all right. Yeah, that'll come loose. Good to know. All right, let me go grab a pan here. All right, now that we got something to catch the oil in, I'm not expecting anything to come out of here. It shouldn't, at least. Yeah. That is not a good sign. Oh no, that's actually hard. I thought it was like milky. I don't know what that is. All right, I guess we could take these 6 bolts off and see what happens. Wow. All right, let me grab a prying device. All right, got everybody's favorite prying device, the flathead screwdriver. Let's see if we can get this thing to pop open. Wow, they went crazy with the Permatex. There we go. Oh, look at that color. That's what you call moisture in gear oil. That is not fantastic looking. So I'm just gonna let that drain for probably 5 minutes, because what we're gonna have to do is actually since they use so much Permatex, we're going to have to clean all this Permatex off. We're going to have to brake clean the entire thing out, get this Permatex off, and we're going to have to use gasket sealer to reseal this thing. You can kind of see where water was getting in right about there. You can see where that rust line is. That's where the water was getting in probably. So it's a good thing we're doing this. So while that's draining, we're going to deal with some of the Permatex on this thing. Now we need to get this clean. We can't just layer Permatex over it. I mean, I guess if we were like shade tree, we could, but what I guess I'll do is maybe try to pick some of this off before we grab the wheel. I don't know. Yeah, that's better. All right, that looks way better. Now we'll just give this a good, nice cleaning with brake clean. Fun fact of the day, if you actually hit brake clean with some air, it'll dry it off super quick. So you can see how this is really wet. See how fast that dried that off? All right, so now we're gonna grab our favorite gasket maker, which in my case is Permatex Ultra Black gasket maker, and has maximum oil resistance, which just so happens we're putting oil in this. So it should work out fairly well. And since I never use mine, it's dried up, so I gotta go open that up. All right, that is plenty of gasket maker. Now I think if you follow like the actual instructions of the Permatex, I think it's gonna tell you to torque it to 75% spec, let it sit for 24 hours, and then torque it the rest of the way. I think that's what the instructions say, but ain't nobody got time for that. It's been my experience that this works just as well if you torque it all the way. What they want you to do is they want you to have this gasket maker set up, and then when it's torqued at 75% of the way, it's still going to suck it in more, so it'll actually form, and then when you give it the final torque, it'll squeeze that gasket maker. But like I said, we don't have time for that. So we're going to just do an initial, just touch them. Get them all about even. So they're all on there pretty even. And now what we'll do is we'll just do final torque on them, which is, this is final torque right here when this stops. And if you listen closely, you might hear the click. Hear it? Click. Click. All right, so the last step is now just gonna be putting gear oil in this thing. Shouldn't be too bad. You just fill it up until it comes right back out of this hole. I'm also certain that John Deere probably calls for like specific John Deere gear oil, but we're just gonna run 80-90 gear oil in it, because that's honestly what I have on the shelf. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, now with that just leaking out, what we can do is we just put our cap back in. I'm sure there's a torque spec on this, but we're just gonna make it race tight. There you go, nice and clean. So I'm gonna go dispose of this oil in my waste oil heater. My Lanair waste oil heater does burn gear oil, so I can dump this right in there. And I actually noticed 2 grease zerks on this. There's one here, and there's one on the opposite side. Those are the only 2 grease zerks I could find on this entire unit, so we're gonna grease it while it's here. So this is my Milwaukee grease gun, and boy, if you guys don't have a grease gun, like a battery-powered grease gun, you really need to get one. And this is actually a lock and lube that's on here too. It locks right on the grease zerk, so you don't have to hang on to it. Absolute game changer. If you guys are interested in the lock and lube or the Milwaukee grease gun, in the first comment, I actually have them in my Amazon shop, so that'll show you exactly what I have so you can pick one up. All right, guys, well, that's it. The John Deere 47 snowblower has been maintained. Now, you might not need to go as far as replacing the chain on yours. You can adjust it, but hey, if you've run out of adjustment, it's time to replace that chain. Again, you know what I'll do? If you guys need the chain, I'll put it down in the video description so you could just buy that chain and you don't have to go through the hassle of looking. I'll do the hassle for you, and I'll just leave a link for you. If you don't need to do the chain, realistically, the only thing you need to worry about is the gear oil. That should be changed every year. Obviously, I mean, I'm the one that maintains my dad's stuff, and what the problem with this snowblower is, this snowblower actually doesn't come to my house ever. The snowblower stays at his house and the tractor comes over here, so I don't get a chance to maintain this. It's just gotten to the point where it was so bad, it needed to come over here to be maintained. So make sure you guys check out that gear oil in yours. It is something that is often forgotten in snowblowers. I've seen some horror stories where people blow out their gearbox because they've never done gear oil changes. And once you have milky gear oil like that, it's not really even lubricating anymore. It's more water than it is oil. So pay attention to that, guys. Take care of your equipment. It'll take care of you. I think that's it for today's video. I mean, there's not much more I can do. Working on the welding table, boy, just being able to work standing up and not having to do this on the floor was amazing. I think, I hate to say this, but man, a bigger welding table would be nice. I know, I just got this one, but being able to put like big implements up there, that would be really nice. Well, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, and if this is your first time here, do me the favor, hit the subscribe button down below. I do a ton of stuff. It's winter time out right now. We're working in the shop because it's chilly out. I got a lot of maintenance to do on a lot of equipment. You guys are gonna be able to watch it here. Until the next video, I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe, stay warm, and I'll catch you on the next one. Stay warm. I should really look into how many people, I don't think YouTube will tell me that, how many people are from warmer climates and really don't need to stay warm. They probably have AC running right now. Not everybody's, you know, from a winter state, Elliott. Not everybody's got winter.